we are to care for what we need or whatever situation. We are the family of God, and we are to share love with each other and with God, and not be negative in any way.
Right. There's two problems we have. One is we have the problem of looking out for number one, and the other is being a loner. Those two things go hand in hand and hurt everybody. They hurt ourselves, and they hurt our relationship with other people, and certainly they hurt our relationship with God. Being a lone wolf, where we can't work with anybody else, we have to work on our own, or we can't be a team player for any reason whatsoever because, well, I'm content to do this by myself, and whenever I get done and I retire with that particular job, then good luck to the next person. That's not the attitude to have. We need to be always concerned about others around us. We cannot be apathetic. Any other thoughts on the negative side? Anybody like the negative side? Say no, please. Please say no.
Well, that,
Yes.
in James 1,
Mm-hmm.
how do we know, like we're talking about here, the church in Revelation we read about Laodicea, they thought they were rich.
Right.
Man, I think no.
Right.
Can we be like that?
Yeah, we can.
We can, and it's easy, we deceive ourselves or something. Anyway, James talks about, in James 1,
Mm-hmm.
but be doers of the word. Verse 22, not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. If any man be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he's like a man that beholdeth his natural face in the glass,
Mm-hmm.
and beholdeth himself, and then goes his way, and then just right away he forgets what manner of man he was. So
Mm-hmm.
this is how we know.
Right.
If we read this stuff, and we're not applying it.
And we are content to stay in our sin or stay in our bad behavior or bad habit or bad verbiage, whatever it is.
I say, well, that's just the way I am.
Yeah, I've heard that. I have heard that a lot, and I've heard that word
I've
too.
also been guilty of making the statement, I'm seeing that whatever you fill in the blank,
Yeah,
they're only hurting themselves, or I'm
Right.
only hurting myself. That's untrue.
that's correct.
That's not true.
You are correct that that's not true. Yeah. Anything else? All right. Positive side. We don't have as many things, but we do have a couple of examples. Positive side. Well pleased. Matthew 17:5. Is that you, Farrell? Okay.
While he was still speaking, a bright cloud covered him, and a voice from the cloud said, "This is my son, whom I love, and with him I am well pleased. Listen to him."
All right, so Jesus was standing amongst Elijah and Moses, and the disciples saw this. They thought it was Peter. Always speaks up and says, let's build 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Elijah, and one for Moses. And that's when that statement came from heaven. So there's a lot to that story, but one thing we see is that God's proud of his son. He's well pleased with his son, Jesus, because of the things that he's doing and teaching. And it's okay. In fact, it's extra good for us to be well pleased with someone who is doing a good job, with someone who is fulfilling their role in whatever it is. And might not be a bad idea. In fact, this is a good example from God that we tell them this. So I'm just throwing that out there for you. I got a mote in my eye. Anybody not have a log in theirs and can come get this out? All right. Let's go over here. I think we're done on that side. Let's go over here.
Now godliness with contentment is a great gain.
That's the whole verse, isn't it? Pretty simple, isn't it? Godliness with contentment is great gain. These other verses were telling us that contentment was not a good thing, but this one is telling us that it is a good thing. If we are godly and we're content about being godly, and we're doing godly things and we're content about the godly things that we're doing, then that's a very good thing. And I think he talked about physical exercise in connection with that at some point. If it's not there, it's another place that makes that connection. He says that just profits a little bit, but godliness with contentment, that profits a lot. So this is a good thing. And I've got not worrying, and I want to throw this out there. Some of you may have a problem with worrying. And there will be some verses. Maybe worry is one of our lessons that we'll get to. But I put it in here, and I've worded it this way. How did they word it in the book? They didn't say not worrying. Okay, they didn't really. Oh, here it is. Positively. I don't know. I guess I made that all up. But I want to say this. The Bible says on several occasions, don't worry. Like Philippians chapter 3 or 4 says, do not be anxious for anything, but by everything in prayer and supplication, let your requests be made known to God and be thankful. That verse is not saying that it's a sin to worry or to be anxious. And neither is that verse where Jesus says, let not your heart be troubled. That's not talking about it's a sin to have a troubled heart. What it's describing is you don't have to worry or you don't have to be anxious because here's good reason not to be. That's what that's describing to us. Now, is there some lack of faith in worry? There can be, yes. But we can't just automatically. What that does to me, when I hear that, people say, well, it's a sin to worry. Well, all that does is make me worry about the fact that it's a sin. You see what I'm saying? It kind of backfires to say something like that. So I've come to a different conclusion on the subject of worry. I don't want you to worry, most definitely. And neither did Jesus, and neither did Paul. But don't worry about worry being a sin because it never describes it as a sin. What it says is be comforted in these other ways. That's what the Bible says. So you can get past this. Worry is also used in the idea of somebody is focused on something and they think that, well, they're not content with it. And you might say, well, don't worry about it. Well, I'm not worried because I think they're afraid that they're going to sin because they've worried. Okay? But don't worry about it. All right? Just don't worry about it. It'll be okay. It's going to be fine. We can be content. What?
Trust God.
That's a lot about it. But you can also be comforted with this as well. All right, let's go to the next. Unless you got something else. All right. Do you see how hard this was to nail down contentment and discontentment? Overcoming discontentment. Well, we need to be discontent whenever there's a problem that we need to fix. If we had a broken down ramp for somebody who's handicapped and they went up that ramp, got stuck in the middle of it, wouldn't that be a problem? Would we be content with that? We shouldn't be. We should want that fixed. So be content about the right things and discontent about the right things. Okay, and that's what we got to get from this. All right, so what does God say about it? Where are we? I guess I could have flipped the page a lot sooner, couldn't I? So we can be there faster. It's all right. Take your time. Don't worry. It's okay.
Then some soldiers asked him, and what shall we do? Therefore, don't resort money, and don't accuse people falsely.
Is that?
Content with your pay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there it is. Be content with your pay. Don't take things from other people. Don't abuse the privileges or whatever. Be content with your wages. Was he talking to a soldier right there, or was it something else? You know, I'm discontent that soldiers and police officers and firemen don't get the pay they deserve. And teachers don't get the pay that they deserve. And we've got people out there that don't deserve really great pay, but yet they're getting it. I'm discontent with that. Am I going to be able to change that? Probably not a whole lot. Now, you know, we throw in doctors in that as well, and they sometimes get paid pretty well, but sometimes they don't. And we complain about medical stuff being high priced, I understand, I'm in agreement, but I'm also thinking from another side of this issue, we also need research and development in that area, and that takes money too. So there's lots of ifs, ands, and buts about those things, but, well, there's a but right there, right? But we got to be careful to be content with our wages. All right, Philippians 4:11, who's got that one? All right, go ahead.
Not that I speak in respect of one, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content.
And this is the context with which we read that famous verse, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. What's he talking about there? He's talking about being content. If there's any verse that we need to use, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, that it fits the best in, it's this subject right here. Go ahead.
His joy didn't rely on the circumstances of his life.
Right.
It relied on Christ, being in Christ.
Right. He had a greater joy, a greater hope.
And that's it. That's it for us. It's true for us today.
Right. Right.
Because we're going to have trouble in this life.
If it's not here, it's coming. Or we've already had it. Yeah. Anything else? In whatever state, be content. You have the next, let's see, the next one comes, you got 3 verses, 6 through 8, 6, 7, 8, okay? Or are you going to read 2? Okay, 6, 7, 8.
But godliness with contentment is great gain.
No, it's usually.
For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out.
Okay. It's 1 Timothy 6, verse 8.
Timothy 6. Okay,
Okay, that's all right. No worries. We're all content here.
But we have food and clothing, with these we will be content.
Okay. So he says it a few times in those 3 verses, doesn't he? Godliness with contentment is great gain, and I forgot what she said and about the clothing. What did you say again, Leah?
We brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we will carry nothing out.
Okay, so the basis of this is basically we've been given everything that we have in the first place, right? You know, when you come in as a baby, I guess, okay, we'll just leave it at that. When you come in as a baby, you're naked, so you don't have clothing. You don't have any money because you haven't had a job yet. No matter what the movie Baby Boss says, babies don't do that, okay? Babies don't behave that way. Babies are babies and are completely dependent on everybody else. I did see a video where this little kid, this one was old enough to walk and in fact climb a fence. And it was climbing a fence to get out of the enclosed area that was supposed to keep that child safe. And so it was climbing out to get to a street where cars could be. You know, that's not, we shouldn't be content with that. But we come into this world with nothing. We're going to go out with nothing. So why do we get so anxious about having something? And so it talks about the clothing. It doesn't have to be, I mentioned those 3, Adidas, Nike, and I don't remember what the other one was. It doesn't have to be some name brand thing. You know, I like Under Armour clothing. I've had some. I got it for free, and I liked it, and I thought, I'm going to get some more of this. And I went and looked at the prices. I'm not going to get any more of this. I don't, you know, I really appreciate the quality that they put into that, and I like it a lot, but I can't afford it. So I'm not going to worry about ever getting one of those things. I like Dickies, but they can be kind of expensive. And I have purchased some of those, but it's not like Under Armour. That's really up there in the upper crust kind of clothing. But you start naming off some name brands. Some of us are really happy with Walmart brand, Equate brand, or Great Value brand, or I don't know what Aldi brand is, but whatever they are, some of those Oh, Clancy's. Have you ever had Clancy's chips? It's like instead of being Frito-Lay Fritos that cost you $4 a bag, Clancy's cost you about $2 a bag. And it's the same thing. It almost tastes the same. Almost. It's not quite as good, but I'm telling you right now, when you start putting that in your chili, you can't tell the difference. You can't tell the difference. We need to be content with some things. Now, I appreciate hard work people try to improve things, and yes, if you can afford it, go for it. Have at it. Enjoy that. But I don't have to. Whatever it is. I've never bought a brand spanking new car. Never in my life have I done that. Some of you probably have. Great. I'm content with my 2004 Ford F-150. Sorry, Dad, it's not a Chevy. But I'm fine with it. Except my air conditioner doesn't work right now. And I'm trying to get that fixed. And I've been working on it for over a year now. They put Freon in it, and it works a little bit and then dies back out. Although it died out and then it came back, it revived recently, but then it went back out, so something's not right. I don't know what it is. I want it fixed because my windshield's getting fogged up too now. And apparently the air conditioner has something to do with that. I'm not content with that until it's working correctly. But I'm not going to go buy a brand new vehicle just to fix the air conditioning. I'm not going to do it. Can't bring myself to do that. All right, so godliness with contentment. Content with what you have. Hebrews, are we at Hebrews 3 or 13? 13? Who's got that one? Okay, go ahead.
Let your conduct be without covetousness, and be content with such things as you have. For he himself has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you.
Okay. It's almost like some of those verses on don't worry. Be content with what you have, because I will never leave you or forsake you. I'll take care of you, God says. So we don't really have any reason to be discontent concerning our Christianity. Even though some people treat us badly, we also have to understand that I think Jesus said it, and Jesus said it to his disciples, and God said it to Israel, specifically to Samuel. He said, he said to Samuel, don't feel like they have rejected you. They haven't rejected you. They have rejected me. So when they turn down your recommendation not to have a king, let them have the king. They're not rejecting you, they're rejecting me. And so do everything that they say, Samuel. Get them a king, and I'll help you do it. God wanted them to have him as their king. Jesus wanted the disciples to know that people are going to persecute you, and they're going to hate you, and they're going to lie about you. They're going to do all sorts of evil against you, but they're not really doing it against you. They don't like me. And because you love me, and you're obeying me, and you're following me, they're also going to hate you. They hated me, they're going to hate you because you're following me. So we have to keep in mind some of those kinds of things as well as we go through our Christianity. I think we're about out of time. Let me see what the next page says. We're foes of contentment. I think we can do this one real quick. Covetous. This is from the book. I don't remember what page it's on from the book. But the secret to contentment is knowing how to enjoy what you have, being able to lose all desire for things beyond your reach. If you are unable to get something like Under Armour clothing, I'm not able to do that. I just don't see it being feasible. But if it's beyond your reach, be content with what you have. I'm fine with the Dickies. I'm fine with the Hanes. I'm fine with some of these other things. Some things. I like Free especially. Free is great. Don't you like Free? I'll come looking at it if it's free. And it may not be perfect, but because it's free, man, that's really great. That's a good bicycle. That's a great truck. Trucks that are free, yep. Oh, it needs a little work. Oh, hey, it's free. Free is good. We need to think that way about the gospel, don't we? It's free, but it costs you everything. That's strange. I guess we can deal with that another way. Now, didn't we read Hebrews 13:5 just a second ago? What did it say again?
Keep your
Let your
life free
conduct-
from the love of money and be content with what you have,
Be content with what you have? Yeah.
because God said, I'll never leave you or forsake you.
Okay. And covetous is in one of those lists of things that has a lot of evil companions.
What do
In
you do
fact,
about
it's one of the top 10 things God hates. Yes?
What do you do about being discontent with the way the world is? Gays and all that.
If you can do something about it, do it. If you can't, what was that thing? It says how to enjoy what you have, being able to lose all desire for the things that are beyond your reach. If you can't do anything about it, what's the use in worrying about it? Just move on. If you can do something about it and you don't, then you're slacking in your responsibility. You see the difference? All right. I can't change the president, whether he's one I like or one I don't like. I have no control over that other than one vote. And I voted the way I voted. Did it make a difference? They say it does. They say every vote counts. Does it? I don't know. But I did what I could do to make the difference. And you know what? I left the rest of it in God's hands. That's all I can do. That's all I can do. I would like to stop all the wars in the Middle East, but you know what? I have no influence over there at all. Nobody knows Andy Warren from Podunk, Arkansas, right? Paragould, Arkansas. Andy who? Yeah. So we just do what we can do. If you can do something, what did they say in the Spider-Man movie? I know this is biblical, right? He said, with great power comes what? You all have to know this quote. With great power comes great
Responsibility.
Thank you.
That's scripture.
Yes, it is, actually. It's not worded that way, but yes, it is scriptural. All right, we'll quit with that. Thank you all. Appreciate your attention.